Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. My name is Stephanie and today I'll be sharing swatches and comparisons of the new and limited edition Holo Taco Royal Debut Trio. So as always, I will save my thoughts for the end of the video, so for now, let's just get into the swatches. The first shade we have is Toe Beans, and this is described as a light pink linear holographic polish with a gleaming pink shimmer peeking through. So I think the name of this one is just so cute and adorable, and I do love the polish too. I mean, I'm a sucker for pink shades, and this is a very light and delicate pink holographic, which I think is really pretty. It has a great formula too. It was really smooth and easy to apply, though it was a little bit sheer on the first coat, so you definitely will need at least a second to get it fully opaque. I don't think you would need a third, honestly. Maybe if your nails were longer or if you had a more prominent smile line, but for me, this was fully opaque in 2 coats. So as far as the pink shimmer, it definitely is very hard to pick up, especially on camera. I will say that I noticed it a little bit more in real life, but it is hard to spot because it's pink on pink. So when you are in more indirect lighting, like I know this clip is very low quality, but being away from the lights, you're able to spot the pink shimmer a lot easier. The next shade is Glamethyst, and this one is a light purple glitter polish with a complementary green shimmer, which is so beautiful, and I love the addition of that. I mean, I really do love this shade on its own if it was just a purple glitter, because I think it's a really pretty one. But as much as I love the color, the formula was a little finicky. I don't want to go as far as saying it was goopy necessarily, but I'm pretty sure the next time I use this, it is going to be very thick and I'm going to have to add thinner, but I think that's kind of par for the course with these Holo Taco glitters. But here on one coat, it gives me really great coverage, and I actually like how it looks here with a little bit of nail peeking through. But I did do 2 coats just to build it up to full opacity, and it deepens the color a little bit more, and you see a little bit more of that green shimmer, but I kind of was a little disappointed at how subtle it is because I thought it was just gonna show up a little more on the nail. But aside from that and the formula, I think this one is still so beautiful, and honestly, I think it's my favorite. And last but certainly not least, we have Royal Crush, which is a rich purple frosted metal that has a sprinkling of scattered holo. So this one is absolutely stunning. I mean, you have eyes, you don't need me to tell you. The frosted metal finish is just so beautiful because of how twinkly it is. It just catches the light so beautifully. So here on the first coat, you can see it gave me really great coverage, but it definitely was not full coverage or fully opaque. So you certainly need at least a second coat. And it does deepen or intensify the color a little bit more too. I think this was also picking up a little bit brighter on camera than how I was seeing it in real life, which was a little bit darker and slightly cooler, like more blue toned, but I think it's stunning either way. It's just so mesmerizing. Now moving on to comparisons, we're starting with Toe Beans, and the first polish that I thought of was Mooncat's Not Today Satan, which is a very light baby pink linear holographic. So they definitely look very similar in the bottle, but on the nail you can see a slight difference where Toe Beans is a little bit cool toned and more silvery looking with a slightly stronger holo, and there is also the pink shimmer as well, so not exactly dupes. Next up for Glamethyst, I knew I had to see this next to Mooncat's Serpent's Tongue, which is a very similar purple holographic polish with a green shimmer. But as you can see in the bottle, there are some notable differences, even though they are very similar in theory. But on the nail, you can tell just by the color alone, they're not exactly dupes. Mooncat is a little bit lighter and more on the pink side, but aside from that, Glamethyst definitely has more of a very dense glitter formula. And the shimmer, I will say, is a lot stronger on Mooncat's side. Even though they might look the same in the bottle, on the nail you can tell a pretty clear difference there. So again, not exactly dupes, but I feel like these two could be cousins or something. So I really don't have anything like Royal Crush in my collection. The closest to a purple foily metallic that I have is ILNP's Smitten, but as you can clearly see, Smitten is several shades lighter and it almost looks a little pink too. But ILNP does have this shade called Hi-Fi, which is one of their ultra metallics. And judging by the swatch photos on the website, I think color-wise it can be very similar, but they do have a slightly different formula where Holo Taco has more of a larger flaky particle. So that wraps up my swatches and comparisons for Holo Taco's new Royal Debut Trio. So as I mentioned in the intro, these are limited edition, but as of recording, they are all still available. So if you are interested in picking any of them up, I will have Holo Taco's website linked in my description box down below. But as far as my thoughts on these, I mean, as I mentioned during the swatch portion of my video, I generally am a fan of them. I just love sparkly pinks and purples, so these shades and finishes are right up my alley, and I do think the formulas are really good too, even though I was saying Glamethyst was like a little thick. That's just kind of expected with very chunky glitters. So overall, they were really nice. But as you saw in my comparisons portion, I wouldn't really say that they're very unique and therefore worth getting. Obviously, if you are a huge fan of Holo Taco or if you exclusively use Holo Taco, it makes sense to get these because they just aren't similar to anything that they have in their catalog currently. Actually, maybe with the exception of Toe Beans being a little too similar to Pink Fizz, but with the other shades, they really are very unique and worth it in my opinion. But if you are just the average consumer, and especially if you have either of the Mooncat shades that I shared, then you really could just skip out on these, which is kind of a shame. I mean, I understand the highest tier, the Holo royalty, being the ones to design and, you know, like select their favorites and all of that, and it's like reserved for the highest paying customers. I totally understand that, but in a way it just kind of sucks because it's like it's really only designed for them and not for everybody else, because from what I saw on Reddit, a lot of people were just kind of upset with these because they weren't especially unique, and Holo Taco already releases a lot of purples, and when they do release pinks, they're very cool tone pinks, so they're very expected, I think. And I kind of agree with Reddit. Like, I wish that they were a little bit more unique, especially being designed, you know, by the top tier. Like, you could have done anything and then you did just purples and stuff. And I mean, I get it, purples are beautiful. Again, I like these shades, but I don't know. I'm curious to see like what they would do next time. I would hope that because of this specific launch that they would take purple like off the table, but I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down below so we can chat about it. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.